You're listening to the Arrow of Time right here on the Musings of a Geek podcast network.
So did you watch the episode?
I did watch the episode. I finally watched the episode.
That's important.
That was important.
You can wing it.
Yeah.
I really liked when the TARDIS landed and there was a situation.
And then the doctor resolved the situation. Oh no. You didn't watch it, did you?
Well, this season you could easily been, and it was to be continued and been right.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Anyway.
Should
we start first or should we cheers first?
Let's start. Let's start and then cheers.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
got it.
First theme song. Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the Arrow of Time. I was about to say, the Doctor Who podcast.
What podcast is this?
Yeah. Welcome to the Arrow of Time. My name is Matt.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Gabe.
And we are on episode 120.
Oh, yeah?
Woohoo!
And guess what, everybody? We are recording this on Doctor Who Day. Happy Doctor Who Day!
Oh, it's,
Joseph and Gabe.
I give you Doctor Who presents. Cheers.
Yay.
Cheers.
Yay.
I want cake.
It's November 23rd.
It is.
I didn't even think about it. I always miss it every year.
You know, I didn't think about it until somebody said something on Facebook.
52 years ago today.
52. Doctor Who is 52 years old.
He doesn't look a day over 2000.
Aww.
Oh, wait. No, he's not Doctor Who. He's not Doctor.
No. So, this episode... Oh, by the way, I decided to drink... Beer. No, it's by Mike Hess. It's called Grim Avenue. I thought it was fitting for this particular episode
because it was pretty grim,
and it took place on an avenue.
Yes, I think it was more of a alley. An alley. It was more of an alley.
It's kind of a street.
Diagon Alley.
Well, I just messed everything up with my beer choices.
Just dump
I'm
it on
sorry.
The floor.
Onto the floor. Time to pull out the dam to buy Angry Beaver. So I got that as well,
just in case your other beer didn't match the theme.
Yes.
Well, we're drinking Shark Attack, so we're way off.
Well, I also got a Shark Attack in case I just want to drink Shark Attack because I like Shark Attack.
That would have been a good episode for this season for Shark Attack. I feel like we had underwater happenings.
Yes.
So that would have worked.
There are no sharks in lakes.
Very, very large fish. Very angry trout.
Very angry trout.
So, I guess we'll get started.
Let's talk about I will jump right into it. I enjoyed the episode. I will say that. I'll be so bold as to say I really liked the episode.
Yes, me too. I cried.
Like all things, I hated it.
But it was called, did we already say Face the Raven?
Face the Raven.
It was written by Sarah Dollard, who's an Australian screenwriter, and this is her first Doctor... Actually, I'm going to say this is her first Doctor Who episode, but I found out she's only the third woman to ever write for Doctor Who.
Oh, wow.
Or in the modern era.
Right. So she's in a small company.
Yes.
So... I am torn about this episode, about the legitimacy of this episode, because the speeches and everything that went along with it was very, very nice, and I felt kind of came to a nice conclusion. However, there are so many things that point to this not actually being a finale for Clara.
Yes. Excuse me.
One of the main reasons is Stephen Moffat didn't write it.
Okay, well, there's a couple things.
He's still pulling the strings, though. Like, he's,
Right.
That sounds wrong. He's actually just in charge. He's not pulling the strings.
Right.
Puppet master.
No, he's actually the producer.
There's a couple things going on here. First of all, I agree with you. I loved it. I thought it was a touching send-off. But the problem is, and I was all prepared to like do a retrospective, my top 5 Clara moments.
Yeah.
Have the montage, the pictures slowly going by.
But then, the more I dug into it, right away I realized, no, that's not. This, we don't know what's going to happen for sure. But we know we've not
Right.
seen the last of Clara.
Yeah, and also the thing is that when Doctor Moffat, Stephen,
no.
He wishes. In his own mind.
Stephen Moffat is the kind of guy that, like, so far we found he doesn't just like, well, he likes to do the big things, so he's not going to leave something like Clara leaving to somebody else who's not him.
Right.
Not the despite the fact that this I thought was could be very beautiful send off. He just wants to do it because he wants to be the one who does it. So he wants to be the one who breaks the regeneration cap and all these different things. He wants to be the guy that does it. So it's out of character for him to just give that to somebody else.
So that is good speculation. And if we may, I'm going to just throw out some spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, people, skip ahead like a minute.
Well, they shouldn't have watched the episode. Wait, they should have watched the episode first.
No. Spoilers
future spoilers.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, skip ahead a minute starting now.
What if I don't want?
Yeah. Well, we're leaving what you do to this game. Just shout. Come on.
So Jenna Coleman's been spotted on the cover of Doctor Who magazine in a waitress outfit, like from the American Diner looking place. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a preview of the final episode. So that's spoiler number 1. Spoiler number 2.
She's a new companion.
That'd be great. I found out that this is the first of a 3-parter.
Oh, a 3-parter. Dang.
Yep. So that goes along with the Stephen Moffat lies.
Okay, so this is the grand finale, basically. So this is
the wind up.
So this episode is basically the
Utopia,
the Teethy people episode. Utopia, yes.
Yes. So okay, spoilers are done. We'll forget we said that little bit. But yeah, so I think the clues are pretty strong that Clara will not be gone.
Yes.
It's exactly up Stephen Moffat's alley because this has never happened before. There's never been a cliffhanger in which we thought the companion was dead, and it turns out that she was actually fine in the next episode. Never happened.
Not even like this season. So part of the challenge, I think, is I really liked it. I thought it was touching. I cried, but it could all be invalidated, and that makes me a little bit more cautious about giving it a 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it definitely, the way, again, that it ended, it seemed like a very nice send-off speech and preparing the Doctor, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of stake, I think, that you might say, Gabe.
Yes.
Especially like the speeches that were made were like big closing speeches that you're going to be alone for a while and but do this and don't blow up the universe and all that. So all these things, like, they were building up to something, and of course the music was like everything that happened. I think led up to a great resolve, but I know that that's not the last that we see of her. That's not going to be a resolution. So to me, it almost kind of, I guess, weakens that a little bit in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it has something done so well and know that it was meaningless. This is the same reason why when we theorized that the end of last season never happened, even though that wasn't great or touching. It's just annoying, though, when you have something in the books and you've made your peace with it, and then to have that rug pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
especially because it was done so well. You look at the way that Moffat sent off the pawns, and that was done so badly. It's like you wish that he would have taken that one back.
Exactly, and I know that you have 1,000 rebuttals to this, Joseph.
Oh, what you're about to say? Not what
well, I know because I'm just over here gushing about the episode and like just bringing up about why it's so good, and I know that you have things against it. So I'm just building up. I'm building up my foundation. I'm waiting for you to pull the rug under my foundation, Joseph. Basically.
Oh no, it's nothing very complicated. It just was kind of dull.
Never built on a rug.
Okay.
It's just like this definitely felt like like a lot of the multi-parters this season. Like, well, here's a bunch of stuff until the things actually start happening, and like I don't know.
I thought there's a lot there though. But anyway, the thing for me for this send off, why I liked it so much was because it did kind of seem in a way like a little bit simple but effective. Like the reason why I didn't like the pawns, the whole pawn thing was because, and they brought a lot of stuff into it. The Angels was the bad guy, and then we have the River's a part of it, and so it's just basically like this whole affair. And Moffat had all these crazy loops and twists and turns and all through it, and then kind of made something that didn't make sense, saying, "Whoa, you can never go back here. It's it's time locked," or whatever they said. The fabric is so devastated that it will, from us, flipping, back and forth, and the angel eating everything, and blah 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 blah. That if we were to travel once more, it would destroy the fabric of fabrics or something. And then it's like, well, then wait a couple days later, or go to. It's so weird that it's just localized to that one spot, that one place, that one time, and it's a big problem that we're never going to see the pawns again. So, that to me was like a lot of effort for just kind of a big flop. It's like there's so many holes in that; they deserve something better. This particular one, it wasn't a whole lot of fantastical things. It was just basically, in the end, a shielder or Lady Me trying to trick the doctor.
She downgraded. Mayor Me.
Mayor Me. Oh, that's right. Okay. Mayor Me.
Demoted.
Mayor Me was wanting the doctor to go in with this weird plan to separate him so all the people would feel safe, and it was just sort of like lots of tricking going on, and that led to this one outcome. And it wasn't overly special or I'm out clevering myself as far as the writing goes. It just seemed kind of more or less simple, but it was Clara putting her life down the line to save somebody else.
Right. So this is sort of the ultimate payoff to a trend we saw starting last season with Clara becoming the doctor.
Right.
And I think she said, I didn't get to write it down, but she had some line about, he gets to, be reckless and pull off all these tricks and get away, scot-free. And, she tries to do the same thing and she dies.
Right.
I think that it was verbalized a little bit more eloquently, obviously. But still, that's what made Clara so special, is she was the sort of companion that was a true stand-in for people. She basically acted the way I think that most of us wish we could act if we were in her spot. She was loyal, she was brave, she was courageous, she had a lot of heart. She was curious. She basically was almost too good. And, she did, in some ways, truly become like the doctor. The big difference is she only had the one life.
She did, yes. Because, in the end, there are things where, the doctor bites it because of just laying his life down for somebody else, even if it's Wilf.
Stupid insignificant wealth.
Yes.
That's not me talking.
Let's not return to that that travesty.
So I don't know, just like the meaning of it and like the heart in it just was so rich. I felt, and there was just something about also even past that, in the end when he was talking to a shielder, saying, "Do you know why she did all that? It wasn't to save me, it was to save you."
Right. Also,
but I am me. Oh, stop that.
Yes.
what were you saying?
I thought that was really cool because like that was one of the moments where that was like some nice hearty justice, or you're like, the Doctor is a time bomb.
Well, and that is, you know, one of those great Doctor moments. Like
That's some great Sixth Doctor moments.
I love when you see the Doctor simmering with rage, and I don't know why, I just do. And so it was interesting to see him restrain that, but he did, you know, warn Lady Me, Mayor Me, whatever, that Despicable Me,
Yes.
that the universe seems really small and I'm angry with you. You know, stay out of my way. Even after he'd promised to leave her alone.
Yeah.
So just to see that simmering rage was pretty rewarding, and it was also the main moral of the episode was kind of about justice. You know, when we get into this street, we see that they have a very black and white worldview, that if you break any law, the penalty is death, and that's how they keep the peace on the street. It seems like a searing critique of overzealous, you know, criminal justice systems. And I think that, you know, the Clara ending her life by begging for mercy for me and for the people on the street was sort of the ultimate searing critique of that kind of justice system.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the fact that you could just like see things blow up in Mayor Me's face when she saw that her plan ended up not working and that Claire was going to have to die, and then the fact that just the Doctor scaring the bejublets out of her.
Yeah, her face was priceless.
Oh yeah, it was like, oh, I messed up so hard. I mean, that was all the big meaty bits of the episode, and it, you know, features Riggsy. Hey, Riggsy from Flatliners.
No,
Just
Flatline.
Just Flatline.
Oh.
Flatliners might be a British soap for all we know.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
What
on,
about
Richie.
really bad doctors? Or the Flatline. Oh.
But yeah, Riggsy's always good to have around.
Yeah. I mean, really, he was just almost a stand-in. It could have been any human in that spot.
But it helped that it was somebody we already knew and liked.
Yes. It also kind of helped that in Flatline, they had the doctor-companion relationship. So it kind of continued where she went off without the Doctor with Riggsy and made this deal. So it did kind of continue that, which is important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think, you know, when the Doctor first got the call on the TARDIS, and he was really perturbed that she got the number. But he goes to examine Riggsy, and he's like, well, I'm sorry, you're going to die. And he has to be reminded that, no, you're the Doctor, you save people. And then he was like, oh, yeah, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and you can tell him just like, you know, lying about whatever. Like, oh, hey, we'll do the thing. Let's go do the thing. I love that about this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bits in it that I did like. I also did like with a shielder. Let's call her a shielder because everybody else does, even though she doesn't remember it and she's stupid. But the idea that she has this, I don't know, maybe not defect, but like this issue, this quirk with her situation of having unlimited life and a finite memory. It's just kind of funny to me and delightful. So it's like this thing of like, oh yeah, I can't remember our conversations that we had.
It would have been how many hundreds or thousands of years ago?
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
But it's a thing though that we don't usually think about, like especially with characters being, oh, I'm immortal. Well, hopefully you have the brain capacity,
right,
to remember all these things.
Just write it down.
Hopefully you have the space. You have the hard drive space. How many terabytes of memory do you have?
She probably has like a PDA by now, or no, it was now. She probably has a smartphone by now.
Yeah. You have to wonder what point she would have realized she was forgetting and started writing things down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. And if you were forgetting, would you ever start writing things down? Because you wouldn't know that you forgot?
Unless
it's like a memento situation.
It is. I don't know what the answer to this SAT question is.
And at some point, you run out of time to read all of it again.
Right. So, yeah, eventually it would take you longer to catch up than it would for you to, actually do a thing.
Yeah.
She's probably at that tipping point. She's already there.
She gets books on tape.
She has a really good like filing system. The do me decimal system. No, it isn't.
So, do you have a list of notes over there, Gabe?
A little bit.
I was thinking that when I first was watching it, they're going into that little alley. Well, one of them, yeah, I thought Diagon Alley. I'm like, but then that's like every single alley that's recorded in the Greater Britain area.
But it was also mystical somewhat because you couldn't just walk into it.
Yeah,
you had to like do a quirk thing.
Yeah, not everybody could see it.
Mm-hmm. You had to trick your brain,
just like all the Harry Potter stuff.
Just like the 9 3/4 or 7 3/4. Or
yes. Although Diagon Alley is the 3 broomsticks, you go to a wall and tap the bricks in a certain order, and it opens for you.
Okay, that's a bit more mechanical. That's mystical.
But it was an interesting place. I mean, so this concept is that now Mi is still protecting the Earth. She's created this asylum in this hidden street in London, which you'd think maybe the country would be a better spot for that, but whatever.
You got the perception filter, doesn't matter.
This hidden street in London, she's got an asylum going. She's got Cybermen and Jadoon and were there Daleks?
No. They did not have Daleks.
They don't play nice.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I think about Cybermen wouldn't play nice either.
They had Ood. We saw some that.
Oh, that's true. Sometimes they're like not fully converted, so they remember.
Although they had a pact or something like that. They had some weird pact. Like, okay, well, we'll abide by the rules.
Well, no, I'm just seeing them that in general, Cybermen don't have much in the realm of emotions anyway. So,
yeah. It was odd.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. And why would the Jadoon be there? The Jadoon are just police officers, essentially.
Maybe they're the police of the street.
Oh, they could be hired. Yeah. Shadow Proclamation, helping out.
And I didn't think that Jadoon were necessarily bad.
No, they're not bad. Yeah. They're just a little bit forceful for what they do.
Yes.
Difficult to deal with.
Right.
So Mi's sort of cultivated this asylum. She only double crosses the doctor because somebody threatens the street. And they said, if you don't do exactly what I say, which is to kidnap the doctor and get his confession dial, that we're going to destroy the street.
Who could be after his confession dial? I could think of like one person.
Yes, one person indeed. Dun 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 dun. It's Missy.
Oh no, I was thinking Davros.
Davros? It's Davros. Oh,
he was going to give it to Missy.
Oh, that's right.
Missy doesn't have to do anything to get it.
I'm silly.
Or is this actually all Claire is doing because she wants the dial?
Ooh, look at that.
Now we're thinking outside the box.
Now you're thinking like a Moffat.
Well, this with Moffat. Okay, so Moffat has 2 stories. Paradox, Escape Death Through Trickery. Those are his 2 stories. They're the only 2 stories he has. They're all the same thing. Sometimes he combines them. But he now has like a baker's dozen of ways to escape death. You've got Tesselectas, gangers, teleports, dream sequences,
heaven,
Zygon duplicates, heaven. You've the computer from the way back in Silence in the Library. He's got this whole host of ways to not be dead. And River's even coming back, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So-
that's right.
Stephen Moffat and death don't go together.
He's really bad at death.
Or then there's a paradox or something.
Yes.
Or both.
And the worst thing is, he doesn't seem to really care about the narrative sense. He's like, "Why'd I do it? Because I could."
Any sort of standard storytelling, no, out the window.
Yeah.
Stories don't have beginning, middles, and ends with him.
It's just nebulous.
It's just a middle for the entire time.
middle.
It's two ends.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Just put string a bunch of ends together and see what happens.
And by ends, I mean like butts.
Butts, yes.
All he gives us is butts.
Oh, that's a reference from last week.
Lots of butts.
Smelly butts.
So not a pleasant butt.
No. I'll leave it at that.
He's no Ryan Murphy, is what we're saying.
Check out American Horror Story, season 6.
Yeah, if you like butts, that's the good butts. That's the place to go.
If you like bad butts, Doctor Who.
Oh, basically.
Yes.
Well, do you have a Who tube? Oh, wait, no, it's too soon. I've got nothing really to say about this episode. I really felt like it was a lot of not much. But yeah, that's my big problem with it.
So I thought it was good.
I felt the opposite. At first I was like, oh no, is this not going to be a whole lot? And I kept on getting served with delicious
served.
Doctor Who treats.
Oh no,
All you can eat.
the good served, not the bad.
Yes. No. Yeah. No. Definitely. Like I really got into the story in these people for what it was, and the whole idea of making this like little refugee camp for these people who or these aliens that have gotten removed. They didn't want to follow the same fate of the Zygons. And they just
by doing exactly what the Zygons are doing. So no, good job there.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
The Zygons are just a little bit better at it because it's a natural trait, natural talent.
But one of the things that I realized in it was I was wondering if that gentleman was involved somehow from the first Shielder episode with the hologram. Because these were all like hologrammy.
I don't know. It could be. Or it could just be good old perception filter.
Yeah.
Box standard. Head on down to Future Mart. Pick one up.
No, they said what it was. It was the creatures in the lights.
Oh, there you go. That's right. Yes. So there's something to do with holograms.
Okay. Yeah. They did explain that. But.
She said it was like a super enhanced, super duper.
Yeah, better than
Super
Sonic.
enhanced. The super enhancer.
But while that was all very nice, it wasn't the story. That was just a background for the actual story to take place. Just like it could have been any kid, not Riggsy. It could have been any situation, not Asylum Street. So again, it's like you didn't do anything with that. That was a pretty background for nothing to happen in front of. That's why I see the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that it was just a backdrop, but I mean, it had to take place somewhere.
Right, it did. Absolutely. But the thing is that then you had this stuff happening that, as you say rightly, is more interesting than the actual episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not the important part. That's just here because, like you said, it has to be somewhere. We can't be in a big empty soundstage.
Right.
I want to watch the episode about the whole Asylum Street and things going on. That'd be much better.
I'm sure we'll be back. That's too good to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, they did have this richness of environment, that it really, I thought facilitated something more. Like, yeah, there could be something, much more story than what it was used for. Because basically, like when it comes down to it, the story was Clara is trying to save Riggsy and ultimately steps into a trick or tries to outwit and doesn't have the whole situation. Basically makes a mistake, but it's like, okay, I'm okay with it. This is how I die.
See, and like the final step on her path to doctoring, being the doctor, she can't ever achieve. She can't have that, sum total knowledge. So when he does a thing like that, he already knows the outcome, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows all the tricks. He knows what's going to happen. She doesn't have that. So she can she can do the first step, but she doesn't have the backup plan.
But we very rarely see the Doctor do anything like take on the curse for himself.
No, yeah, he always has something else ready to go.
Right. But he very rarely puts himself square in the crosshairs like that. Mm-hmm. Clara was a little too reckless.
Yeah, especially like when she was saying, "Oh, well, it's really easy. I can just switch it. I'll just take it on." And I was just like, "Oh, that's a bad idea. I don't know about that, Clara. I think that might come back to bite you in the behind later."
Well, no, I don't know. Oh.
That's what I thought when I was watching that. Like, don't make that mistake. And you know what? She made it.
So even though this had been spoiled, that we knew this was going to be her last episode, or we don't know that, but it had been leaked out by Mr. Capaldi himself that we would see Clara's death this week. In spite of knowing that going into it, I still didn't quite think this was going to be it. Like when she took that, I didn't think that's the way she goes. So I was still, in spite of everything, a little bit surprised.
Yeah, that it just kind of stuck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things that kind of pointed to we're going to see her back again. Well, I mean, talking to you guys, when I came back to the house, and you're like, I mean, this may or may not, like the fact that it was so open-ended, I was like, oh, that's weird. Because usually they make things pretty finite. Mm-hmm. With about at least people leaving,
and there's a lot of production things for why she's not gone this episode.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't usually hire someone for 10 episodes out of 12, 10 out of 11, 10 out of 12, whatever, 3-parter left. Yeah, so it'd be production wise, it'd be odd.
Yeah,
you don't usually to be continued after that.
Right.
What else don't you do? There's like lots of little things like there's little clues. And again, the big one that you had was this wasn't Moffat's writing.
Yeah, that's one thing that never happens is you don't just leave, unless it's maybe a classic series thing. But yeah, they're never just gonna leave. Like have a companion leave on an episode that the head writer did not write.
Mm-hmm. And we've only ever killed one other companion. Well, we haven't killed him. He went and got himself killed. That fool kid, Adric.
The maths.
The maths. But he did it saving like the entire Earth. So you're like, okay, pretty honorable.
It's not a good episode.
Not a good episode. No, it's definitely not a good episode. And then there's Perry, who was dead and then wasn't dead because I guess they wrote like a line in at the end that says like, oh, she's fine.
See, well, now that's like out Moffating Moffat.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I could have just written a line.
Those are the really janky years.
Like. For sure, like dead, completely dead, and then like a little while later, oh yeah, and he's not.
Well, it has something to do with Brian Blessed. That's all I remember.
Well, no, it was the Doctor thought Perry died, and then she didn't die on screen.
Right.
He thought she died, and then she comes back later and is married to what's his face?
Astrid.
That was Brian Blessed.
Yeah, okay. So let's dive right into your notes over there, Gabe.
We've gone through some of them already.
Yeah? Cool. I like the fact that you take notes because then we know for sure that we have things to talk about.
There's not a whole lot this week. Again, I going back to what we were talking about just a second ago. I do feel like the simplicity of the episode, it's not necessarily a bad thing. We're in a spot where we complain when things are overwrought, mental, and iconic, and then when we get something that's just simple and it is what it appears. Well, probably is not what it appears to be, but
that's the problem.
When we get something like that, then we complain that it's too simple. So are we just never happy?
I'm never happy.
Joseph is never happy.
I want all things I interact with to be perfect, always. I expect nothing less.
Nothing less. Going into it, I realized that I like this episode so much. This is basically the reason why I think that Doctor Who is kind of a cut above most television. Because I saw this, and even though I didn't cry, like it definitely made me feel feelings, and I guess I was just compelled through the whole episode. There are some of those episodes where I'm just kind of like, really? It's nothing's happened yet.
It's still going.
Oh my gosh.
Are you okay, Barbara?
Yeah. But this episode, I felt like really compelled the whole time, and I really got into the story, and I cared about the people. Maybe, yeah, there was a bit much, like the environment kind of outweighed the plot. Maybe that was kind of thing that you're feeling, because I definitely felt like that, where for this episode, if they just only used the street for this one story, this whole idea, like it's so good, and there's just like so much there. There's so many nuggets in there. There's so much potential to use it for something else, for a little bit more than what they used it for, that it would be kind of a waste if this was the only time that we saw it.
This episode and the street reminds me of an RTD.
Yeah, actually, it does.
Well, it reminds me of the Shakespeare Code in a little way, a little bit of way.
Shakespeare Code?
Well, I don't know, just like the.
Is it because it's just Britishy?
It's Britishy. I don't know.
They're in London.
Are you saying like the idea of it reminds you of something else, or is it like
just
the look?
the idea of this alien asylum in the middle of London that nobody sees. It's that kind of science fiction-y concept that RTD would really have.
Yeah, he had a lot of episodes, and I'm struggling to come up with what they are.
Like the metaphysical.
No.
Okay.
It was there was a lot of ones where there was like this community or a structure already in place, and that was
like Utopia.
Generally more involved in the story. It was like it was the story, and then
just out of sight of humans too.
Yeah. And then Moffat, I think, tried it like once or twice and kind of never did it quite right. So we haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah. It's really funny though that you bring that up, because I always remember you, Joseph, saying that RTD did a lot of kind of metaphysical kind of like feelings, or like show or like episodes were kind of played a little bit more with the, even though it wasn't supernatural or didn't end up being supernatural, but it just kind of seemed a little bit.
I don't know if it was metaphysical specifically, but it was definitely RTD was a lot more feelings,
like
yes.
Or mysticism sort of things.
Yeah.
And
a lot more, that your song is ending stuff.
Yeah, so
it's a paradox.
I was watching it through Amazon Prime, and the little description says that there's a magical like city in the middle of London or something like.
They were just trying to channel Harry Potter.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Go on to Green Flap.
Green Flap.
Something with goblins in it and buy a wand.
Yes. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's kind of weird. Magical? Is it really magical? Okay, well, let's go see. Oh, no, it was just not the best explanation of what it is.
But they were clearly playing up the Harry Potter-esque, like the fact that the streetlights were those perception worms.
Right. It could have been messy easier if it was a technology thing, but no.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more. But
I kind of liked that.
Is it whimsical?
Yeah.
Are they the same worms that they were using back in the Vostra days?
The memory worms?
Make people forget stuff?
I don't know about that, but I do know that what they used on Rigsy to make him forget is the same thing they use all the time in Torchwood.
Really?
Yeah.
The little Men in Black flasher. Beep, 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 beep.
No, it's a food or drink.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, because they would drink something and then. But anyway, it apparently it left a thing in their brain, like a big I don't know. There's something in their brain that if you scanned it, it was there. I guess the doctor found it on his little scanner, scan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he said that Rigsy's frontal lobes were bathing in it.
Or yeah, marinating or whatever. Yeah, in whatever this was. So that's what was going on with him. So there's lots of bits that were being washed out of and wiped of memory. And that's how that works. So that's nice to know that that's how that works.
Exactly.
Retcon. It's called retcon.
Retcon.
Oh, that's right. How could I forget? Because retcon is also a thing that Stephen Moffat does all the time.
Yes.
So, it was some really sweet. We touched on it a little bit before already, but some parting lines from Clara to the doctor.
Right.
She told him, "Don't be a warrior, be a doctor," and she gave him the line, "Physician, heal thyself."
Just like a certain Eighth Doctor.
Yes. Heal thy. Which is a very powerful move in Doctor Who Legacy.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought that it was actually kind of fun when he was like, "Oh yeah, the doctor's not here anymore. Sorry, you're stuck with me." I'm like,
Right.
"Oh, we're getting the war doctor back."
Oh, that'd be awesome. You listen to those War Doctor stories.
Yes, all of a sudden, John Hurt busts through the door.
Yeah. Wait, no, this isn't how this works? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I'll go outside.
But yeah, just like those kind of speeches where it's like, "Oh wow, the doctor's kind of going crazy, but in a crazy way that I kind of don't mind."
Yeah.
Like this is the doctor that would bring down civilizations.
The oncoming storm or
The oncoming storm.
whatever that was.
Somehow, 11 sold that a little bit better than Capaldi. Capaldi, for having an apparently gruff exterior, really seems to be a softie on the inside. But 11, somehow, his stories about how, what a bad MFer he could be, he sold it better.
Well, I think too because he's he was a younger, baby-faced, adorkable person. So I think that like acting-wise, he definitely had to sell it more, and so there had to be more like actually character-driven stories about him being going out there and crushing and destroying, and this is the plan, and this is how I do all this stuff. Whereas Capaldi, it's already there. So,
But he's also kind of a softie.
well, yeah, his job now that he has to act is that he's not gonna stab everybody in the face all the time.
Yeah, he's not swearing into a cell phone constantly.
Yeah,
And one of Clara's other great lines from that speech was, "You'll give in the minute you see a crying baby," or whatever. Again,
yeah.
underscoring what a softie he is.
Oh yeah, the Riggsy's baby too.
Oh, right.
He goes off and like, "No, this baby's brilliant. How did you get a brilliant baby?"
Mm-hmm.
And then saying, "Yeah, bring the new human." That's what he called it, the
Yes.
new human.
No, bad idea.
He's like, I'll only get distracted." But yeah, even the doctor likes the babies. He speaks baby.
Foolish man. Did I mention next week's episode title yet?
What's next week's episode title?
Get ready to groan.
All right.
Heaven Sent.
That's an excess song.
Yeah. Oh, our music's already picked out. That's fantastic.
Heaven sent, that's what I call you. Heaven sent. Yeah.
So the implication being there that somehow we're going to have to deal with the muckety muck of last season again.
Well, or just, who do we know that's maybe runs heaven?
Davros.
Yeah, Davros.
Missy.
Oh, dang it. Again. Why does this happen?
Say, this is all Danny Pink's plan.
Oh, that would be the best thing in the world.
I mean, he's been stuck inside of the Time Lord computer for who knows how long now. He's had time to get revenge or, come up with a revenge plan.
Yeah.
He never liked the Doctor anyway.
No, he didn't.
That's what he's trying to do. Oh, and the doctor, he's basically going back to his own little personal hell. Everything that he fears all the time. A lot like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Isn't that where they play chess with death?
No, they play Battleship.
Somehow, do we have a HooTube?
We do.
It's a physical HooTube this week.
Gabe, you get to choose.
What?
This is all about, these are Clara HooTubes.
This is like, Let's play a game.
Do you want a somber HooTube? Do you want a joyous HooTube? Or do you want somewhere in between?
Joyous.
Joyous. All right. Then
You get a fan vid.
we have this week's HooTube comes by way of this is my favorite name. Katniss Winchester. I love it.
Somebody has a healthy fan imagination.
Yes, I knew. I'm like, this is going to be a good HooTube. It's called The Doctor and Clara Oswald. And it grasps, has a lot of the Doctor and Clara Oswald together. And it's fun. It's upbeat.
Does it have a song?
Yes, but I didn't write it down.
That's okay.
There is a song on it.
You'll listeners will go and look at it and they'll find out.
It's
it'll be exciting.
I keep coming back or something like that. I think it's mainly centered around. It's a lot of fun time. It's like early Clara. I don't think that that Capaldi is in it, or he might not be in it too much. But it's mainly 11th and Clara. But it's fun. It's a fun video, upbeat song, and it'll leave you tip tap tapping away. And there you go. Thank you very much, Katniss Winchester. I wonder what kind of fan thing she's into.
I'm going to guess Star Wars and Transformers and maybe Lord of the Rings.
All three of those.
Batman, but only the George Clooney years.
Oh. I'm sorry. Those were the best years of Batman ever.
Those are the best
Gabe.
Bat years.
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, originally I thought this was going to be a huge grand podcast send off for Clara Oswald, but since it's really not a send off for Clara Oswald because they're not sending her off in the actual program, which is a good thing to say. Yeah.
They'll do it in a much worse way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll come back and give it the great
We'll give it the old
garbaging
Moffat
it needs. All right. So with that, I'll say
Find us
yes.
on arrowoftime.com. No, arrowtime podcast.
Nope.
AOTpodcast.com.
Yes.
Do-do-do-do. And you can check us out on Stitcher and iTunes by just typing in Arrow of Time Podcast. Give us stars and ratings because we like them, and tell your friends about us, and then go check us out on Twitter at AOT Podcast.
Or Facebook, search Arrow of Time Podcast.
And you can also check us out on our network, Musings of a Geek, and you can go to musingsofageek.com. And you can find a bunch of other podcasts called The Arkham Social Hour, and Pilots, and Graphic Novice, and How Is This Movie, and Culture Babble, and many, many more. And as well as the flagship podcast, Musings of a Geek. The podcast.
That's a lot of podcasts.
That's so many podcasts. Your podcast bill can be full. And so with that, I will say I have been Matt.
I have been Joseph.
I have been Gabe.
And this has been the Arrow of Time.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. This is also a torta, and a pita, and a pepperoni sandwich bun.
Oh, pepperoni sandwich bun.
What are those cheese things that it's like a pizza, but it's like a
calzone?
Calzone. Oh my gosh, I want a calzone.
Those are pretty good.
Those are so good.
You are now leaving the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.